All right, so the last thing we'll do is quickly talk about the big O of stacks. And all that really matters are these first two, insertion and removal. So the way that we wrote our stack class was to make sure that pushing and popping were both constant time. That's kind of the one thing you have to care about in a stack. Searching, accessing individual items using like an index or position, that is not important at all. And if it is, you probably want to use an array or some other data structure that's going to give you faster access. So a stack is really prioritizing insertion and removal. And the way that we implemented ours, if you wanted to search for something, you'd have to start at the beginning and just traverse the entire stack, .next, 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 which would give us O of n. Insertion and removal, though, because we're adding to the beginning and removing from the beginning, we don't have to iterate over the list or the stack. We don't have to, look for anything. We just jump right to the start, and that means constant time. And lastly, to recap, stacks are a last in, first out, LIFO data structure, where the last value in is always the first one out. They're used to handle function invocations like the call stack. We've seen that. They're also used for operations like undo and redo, for routing, your page history, where you've been in your browser, and a whole bunch more. And they're not a built-in data structure in JavaScript. In some languages they are, but JavaScript is not one of those. But they're pretty quick or easy to implement. And like I said in this video, or in the last video, you'll see me use an array to implement a stack because it's shorter. We don't have to use all of this code here. It's not that bad. But when we're doing these more complicated algorithms later on where we need to use a stack, I've already recorded them, so I definitely will be using an array. But this is the preferred way of creating a stack. If you are using it for tons and tons of data, there's no reason to use an array to store 10,000 items. If you're only accessing using push and pop or shift and unshift, there's no reason to do that. Just to use a custom class like this. So that's stacks. Next up, queues.